Before High Potential Season 2 even began, fans speculated that Steve Howey's new character, Captain Nick Wagner, would be a potential adversary for Morgan. The end of High Potential Season 2, Episode 4 certainly didn't help dispel that notion, with Morgan and Wagner's first interaction being incredibly awkward, setting the stage for friction. Everything in the episode pointed to Wagner causing problems for the team, but it also revealed he's not the real adversary they should worry about in High Potential Season 2. Instead, there's someone else in the lap poised to be a greater threat, and that threat is exactly how Wagner can become the hero this season. It's High Potential's internal affairs guy that Morgan and the team need to be worried about. Copyright symbol ABC Disney a courtesy Moverstills DB. Wagner, as a far more involved captain than Keith David's Pacheco, will definitely shake up the group dynamic, and likely not in a good way at first. However, the episode also introduced another new character, and this one is set to be a far greater threat to Morgan. Solomon, an agent from Lapped Internal Affairs. Solomon showed up to investigate Karadek's shooting and killing Epps during a hostage standoff. Morgan is indignant on Karadek's behalf, but Karadek assures her that it's standard procedure for Internal Affairs to investigate every time a cop discharges his weapon while on duty. Meanwhile, Solomon hints to Soto that Morgan is also under his watchful eye, and it's clear that he doesn't trust her consulting for the Lapped. It's this scene that shows just how much of a danger Solomon could be to Morgan's place with the Lapped, and how much of a danger Morgan could be to herself. Solomon has made it clear that Morgan makes him nervous. She's not properly trained and has already earned a reputation as a wild card, which is anathema to Internal Affairs. But it's Morgan's outraged response to Karadek that shows exactly why Solomon feels the need to keep a closer eye on her. Like it or not, there are strict procedures that the Lapped must follow, and it's always Morgan's first instinct to flout procedure. It's been less of an issue in Season 2, but in High Potential Season 1, it was so bad that Morgan threatened to ruin investigations by mishandling evidence and trespassing without a warrant. Solomon is being set up as a villain, and for the purposes of the show, he is. But Internal Affairs is the department that investigates corruption, cops not following procedure, police violence, etc. They're the ones who watch the watchers. If Morgan continues to walk the line between legality and illegality, it's Solomon, not Wagner, who can truly end her career, and anyone else who follows Morgan's unorthodox lead. Captain Wagner has to win the team over ABC. The episode made it clear that, Internal Affairs pressure or not, Wagner is going to have a hard time winning over a team that believed it should have been Selena Soto, their deserving and competent lieutenant, who got the captain's promotion. Despite putting up a professional front for her team, Soto later confided in Morgan that she was angry about being passed over for the job. It's not necessarily Wagner's fault. We don't yet know whether he excels at his job or is a good leader. He may very well be both of those things, and just as deserving of the job as Soto. But it doesn't really matter. Human nature being what it is, there is always friction and resentment whenever an external newcomer is appointed to oversee a team, and that resentment is stronger when a team feels it should have been one of their own. As a police captain, it's vital that Wagner earns their trust and respect, and he has to do it fast. Coming down hard on them and being a hardass won't win him any supporters and will only serve to alienate him further from the team. As such, Wagner has to show his new detectives that he has their backs, including Morgan's. That's why Solomon presents an opportunity for Wagner to become the hero. Wagner can earn the team's trust in High Potential Season 2 by defending them from Internal Affairs credit, ABC and Moverstills DB. Solomon isn't a one-off character. High Potential introduced him with the obvious intention of him coming back into play later in the season. He will be a thorn in Morgan's side and a threat to her Lapped career, which means he's a threat to the whole team, whose loyalty Morgan has more than earned. That's where Wagner can step up and firmly establish himself as a great leader and teammate. It could very well be that Wagner was given the job over Soto because the higher-ups wanted someone who wasn't as close to Morgan to oversee the team, feeling that Soto had given her consultant too much free rein. But Wagner could also become a great ally once Morgan proves her worth to him. Other cops in the precinct had their doubts about Morgan at first, but she won them all over. That includes her partner, Karadek, who is now one of her staunchest supporters and trusts Morgan implicitly. Wagner can be the same, acting as a shield and a defender of his consultant and his team from the prying eyes of Solomon and Internal Affairs. The detectives need to know their new boss has their back, and the best way to do that is for Wagner to back them up during an Internal Affairs investigation. If he does, he could become a leader like Soto by the end of High Potential Season 2, one who has earned the trust and loyalty of the people he commands.